We are ready for qualifying here at Magny-Cours for our second GT World Challenge Europe powered by AWS Sprint Cup race of the weekend. Totally different field for today. Qualifying is earlier. The race will be earlier. It'll be a daylight race, whereas yesterday we went into the darkness. Yesterday was rather dominated by the Verstappen Racing Mercedes-AMG team, run by 2Cs. It was pole for Jules Gounon, and he and Danny Hunkadeya were not headed during the course of the 1 hour race. We had a full course yellow period, but even so, they were absolutely dominant. This qualifying session puts the other driver aboard the car. It's going to be split qualifying, and unlike yesterday, it will be the Silver Cup and Bronze Cup entrants that go first, and they will also get the first part of the pit window when we get to the 1 hour race as well later on in the day. David Anderson and Joe Osborne are trackside, so too many fans. They've already had a busy morning watching support race action, but we are not far away from qualifying getting underway. The fast lane then is open. Yesterday, as has often been the case, we discovered that even when the lights go green, there are relatively few takers. You would have thought that with just 10 minutes available per group, you'd want to maximise the track time. But, Joe, they all seem to bide their time and let somebody else blink first.
Yeah, yesterday was an extreme case of that with the lack of rubber laid down on the track. See Louis Pret warming up before he would jump aboard the number 58 Garage 59 McLaren. So I would expect a minute maybe of no one taking it, but then cars to filter out. Like we've said, 44 cars on the grid, a record entry for a GT World Challenge sprint race, but we will half it. So it'll be 22 in the A session and then 22 in the B session.
The AF Corsa fleet of Ferraris peppering really most of the classes here, with cars in Pro as well as Gold and Silver. And number 50, one of those Pro Cup cars that was second in yesterday's race, Thomas Neubauer. And today, qualifying to be done by Arthur Leclerc. The marshals have had busy days, what with action running long into the evening. Yesterday was a really, really good day, not only in terms of activity on the track, but just to see how many fans were here. The podium is in the paddock as well. The cars drive to it, so loads of people around there all day, not just for GT World racing and activities. And then at the end of the day yesterday, there was the track walk. Loads and loads of people long into the evening taking the opportunity. There's yesterday's winner, Danny Hunkadeya. He will qualify the number 3 Mercedes-AMG. Jules Gounon, 2 pole positions to his name. Not bad for Super Sub, because he's again replacing Chris Lullum, getting over that appendix operation.
Yeah, 100% strike record for Jules Gounon in qualifying, and the 3 car seems to have turned the corner with luck. It's had the speed, but now the luck is matching, and they had a pretty dominant performance yesterday, didn't they?
Yeah.
It would have been different if we went safety car. I think that 50 Ferrari could have been there. Arthur Leclerc super quick at the end of the race. So it was the 7 car of Nicky Team. He actually set the fastest lap in the race in the 007 COM2 Aston, and WRT was slightly off the boil, it felt, for them yesterday.
And you've got to say that both Nicky Team and also Arthur Leclerc have got to be candidates for pole position. We will have, as I say, bronze and silver first, then we blend the pros and the golds into the mix. So no matter how good you are in this, the order is going to shuffle. But yesterday, we had the fastest bronze car, Kean Jewis's 2Cs Mercedes, second overall in qualifying, which was a mighty effort. They won bronze on the road, but then got a penalty. Charles Dawson was done for speeding under the full course yellow. So it was a bronze win in the end yesterday for Marvin Dienst and Rinat Salikov.
Yeah, dropped them to 3rd with the drive-through added at the end of the race. There was a few other cars as well, wasn't there? Gabriel Rindone was done for the same 2 ACA cars of Levy and Dylan Pereira as well. So 4 cars attracting penalties in that full course yellow procedure.
Calvin van der Linde, Valentino Rossi, all at WRT, of course. Valentino will qualify today. Calvin van der Linde will qualify today, but they will go in the second group. So it is Q2A. The lights have just gone green for at the end of the pit lane to get those cars underway. Fans of Valentino Rossi finding themselves on the big screens that are here. There you can see 87, that's the Rinat Salikov Mercedes AMG. To the right of it, Valentino Rossi's BMW, and then Calvin van der Linde's car. From the drone, you can have a look at all the cars in formation. So WRT, then you get to 2Cs, then Garage 59, then AF Corsa, 4 of them. Then the Audi that was damaged yesterday, Christopher Haas's car that operates by the East Talent team there at Paradigm, Darren Lung's BMW, and he will qualify that car today.
Yeah, they checked a penalty as well, didn't they? The 991 with Farfus at the start, the race contact with the 96 car. So cars are making their way out 45 seconds into the session. So as predicted, slightly earlier than yesterday. Remember, yesterday, though, cars that went out early were hampered by cars later in the session on their own outlaps. So they will be fearful of that happening.
We have Alex Malikian on track. We've got Marcello Tomassoni in the Aston. We've got Michael Blanchemin's Audi that was involved in an incident yesterday that triggered the full course yellow. And there, look, Tomassoni and Malikian having a great fight already. Malikian being very determined to get clear track space there. He's on that long, long run up towards turn 5. There's quite a lot of lap before you get to turn 5. It's only, yes, the 5th corner on the racetrack, but you've done the best part of 2 kilometres when you get there. Yeah,
it's a long, long climb all the way up there as well. It doesn't look it on the camera, but it affects how the cars perform, and the gradient obviously over the lap. The 21 car was very quick yesterday in qualifying, pole in the silver class, but unfortunately they didn't get to the grid. It was a throttle position sensor issue, we were told, and the car never really recovered. Yeah. Unsurprisingly, having to start from pit lane with 43 cars in front of them. Yesterday it was Oliver Söderström who sparkled to take the silver pole. Today it is going to be Arthur Dorisson who will qualify the Comtu entered Aston. And we're already down to 8 minutes of the 10 for this group, and you can see how few takers there are. Still a very busy pit lane of parked cars. Alex Malikian then in this effectively Manthey-operated pure racing entered Porsche. Alex Malikian, who came into the sport via the Porsche Sprint Challenge, the Cayman Series in the UK. He's raced in British GT on and off, but he's done World Endurance, he's done Asian Le Mans, he's done GT World. A lot of miles have been covered in a relatively short space of time. Yeah, exactly that. And he started off his journey, of course, as a bronze-graded amateur, but his performance was too high, so he got upgraded to the silver, and that's why they're in the silver class now. So Malikian is going to get us our first lap time, but again you can see the traffic. Those 3 cars are all on out laps. Malikian is the first car on a push lap, so he knows everyone in front needs to get out of his way, but they may not because they want their own track position. And just look how busy it is all of a sudden on the run here up towards the Adelaide hairpin. Malikian is in the all-red Porsche. There it is, the pure racing car, trying to get past number 27 Marco Pulcini, and this lap has just completely unraveled for him. It's a shame. It was a good sector. 29.0 was the fastest sector one we had yesterday, so he was only half a second off that. You can see him on the flashes now. Other drivers unaware have not been told. This is where, again, good engineers will help out. I think Malikian's best chance now is this lap is done, but he needs to get the next lap ready to be clear. Now, while you watch the Porsche thread through the traffic, let's hear from Danny Honkadea, yesterday's winner, with Bryn Lucas.
Feeling good, feeling happy and relaxed. A great result for you yesterday. Just do the same today. Simple as that, right?
Yeah, you said it yourself. Very easy. I mean, in the theories, we know the theory, but then yeah, obviously it's hard. It's going to be a big fight. I think it's good to get one out of the way. You know, win a race, score big points, and today I think we have a really good chance again. Car felt really good yesterday. So yeah, I think the field is going to be closer, but we'll have a good chance. You could feel the relief, really, between yourself and Jules standing on the top of the car yesterday celebrating. That gives you a real push on for today. Are there any changes to the car, any things you have to look at to get better performance, or are you happy with what you've got? We were very happy with what we had so far, so we're fairly similar to what we've been driving since yesterday. I mean, the results speak for themselves, so why try something ballsy or different? We don't need to do that right now. But yeah, like you said, getting one win out of the way, it's always good. Takes off a lot of pressure. Just, you know, the fact that we couldn't really capitalize on a win so far, it's always having a bit of a toll. But yeah, now it's out of the way, so pressure is out. We just go full send. Thank you.
It was Danny Honkadea's first sprint win yesterday. Ariel Levy doing a good job, number 66. You're looking at Darren Lung rattle over the curb, British GT champion, chasing after another British GT champion, Charles Dawson. Darren Lung goes quickest for now. This is Ariel Levy, who has been really rapid this year in the Tresor Attempto Audi, launching himself over the curb. He's had the odd error as well, but Levy is quick and he goes fastest there. So Ariel Levy to the top of the times on a 1:37.5.
Yeah, I think pole is going to be a low 36, and yesterday was a 36.0 for Gounon, but he was class of the field, so I think it'll be slightly slower today, but I think for Levy that'll be struggling to stay in the top probably 15 by the end of the combined sessions.
So Levy at the top then, from Darren Lung, from Mark Kastelich, from Alex Malikian. This is Maxime Robin, who is coming down then now towards the end of the lap, and another one in a hurry is Aurélien Panis. So out of Chateau d'Eau go the Astons from the Valkenhorst stable. And it's like an Aston one mate race at the moment. We have, as perhaps is inevitable around here, cancellation of lap times due to track limit abuses. Michael Blanchemin's Audi being an offender. But Ignacio Montenegro, who was the winner of silver for the third time yesterday, is on a mega lap at the moment and could be on for pole in silver. So wait in the background to see the BMW come into view. The Mercedes here is Aurélien Panis, who is at the wheel of the Misano winning Bartone Get Speed car. He's doing personal best. Montenegro then will be potentially faster than that. Let's get Panis across the line as he comes out of the chicane. The Mercedes seem to ride the curbs really nicely. Panis goes fourth. This is Montenegro moving from touring cars to GT3 this year, and he's taken to it like a duck to water. Ignacio Montenegro then up towards the timing line, and he's going to go second. In fact, he misses out by 94 thousandths on Ariel Levy.
Yeah, it was the last sector that let him go down. We're on board with the 93 Porsche at the moment.
Let's get to the pits and hear from Arthur Leclerc. Pole today, maybe?
You were looking so rapid out there yesterday. Is pole position possible for you guys today?
Yeah, let's see. I mean, we didn't expect to be that fast, to be honest. So I don't know really what happened, but Mercedes was looking so strong, especially in free practice and before the quali. It's looking that not everyone put the laps together, but Thomas did so, and we had a really good race in. So yeah, it was a really positive race.
Have you looked through the data and found out quite why you were so good?
No, I think with a bit colder condition, we are a little bit better maybe than the others, but with the heat, maybe it will be a bit more tricky. So we just keep pushing, walking, and hopefully to get for the pole.
Merci à toi. Bonne chance.
Dustin Blattner goes through and he's 10th. This is Ignacio Montenegro, who's having another go. He's got another lap in the tyres then. So an absolute best sector 1, a personal best sector 2. Montenegro then coming over the curb in the WRT Run Silver Cup BMW. And the car that he shares with Mathis Lismore now comes out of Chateau d'Eau. And this is the plunge downhill then to the Complexe du Lycée. Under the bridge he goes. And then you get down to the right and the left, which is turn 16, 17 chicane at the end of the lap. Charles Dawson trying to improve within bronze, which is headed by Peter Dempsey at the moment. You're on board with Peter a moment ago. Montenegro for pole position, question mark? Yes is the answer. Ignacio Montenegro then goes ahead of Arthur Dorison in number 21 Aston. The French driver mentored, sponsored by Pierre Gasly. Charles Dawson goes up to second, and that's pole in bronze.
What a lap from Dawson, really quick. He'll be frustrated after the penalty that lost him the win yesterday. Can Dorison reply? You would say yes, that's an ultimate fastest sector 2 out of anyone. It's been a slow burn pace-wise. 36.7 now pole for Montenegro. 3.5 tenths clear of a bronze graded driver in second who has just lost his lap. So Dawson's lap has been scrubbed off.
It has indeed. So that's bronze pole back to Dempsey, and he's just gone 4th overall. Peter Dempsey, the Irish driver. This is Arthur Dorison. Don't forget, this car was on pole in silver yesterday. Had to start from the pits, but the pace was there, and Arthur Dorison is rising to the occasion as he bounces through the chicane, flicks through the right-left, goes second then. Arthur Dorison second fastest, but he's 2 tenths down on Montenegro.
Yeah, lost a bit of time for me at turn 15. He whacked the apex curb too hard. The big sausage sent him up in the air. As we now look at Jamie Day, who looks like he's getting compromised slightly by Malikian. He sends it over the curb. 5th place for Jamie Day.
So he's got Malikian ahead of him. Maxime Robin behind has just gone 9th. Malikian 12th overall in this group. As you see the rest come through, let's have a listen into Ignacio Montenegro's radio traffic. He is fastest.
Job mate, T1 5 tenths, we see push.
Well, 5 tenths it was, 2 tenths it is now. Montenegro comes out of the chicane, and is there the possibility of improving on this lap? He goes through, and a 1:36.769 remains the best that he has done.
Yeah, it was a yellow flag out at turn 8 momentarily for the 52 AF Course Ferrari of Magny-Cours. That's actually where they had the incident yesterday as well, didn't they? Where they got recovered into the wall, which looked slightly unfortunate, but all back to green now. But I think 5 or 6 cars were compromised by a yellow flag. Of course, means you can't improve that sector when you're in there with a yellow flag active.
So Montenegro, the fastest. This is Maxime Robin, 9th and improving in sectors. And the group ready to take the checkered flag because we've hit 0 on the clock. So this is your last chance, last opportunity. And Charles Dawson's had another lap taken off him for track limits. So in the end, treble 2 sitting briefly 7th in the times, but has just gone tumbling down to 22nd. This lap for Charles Dawson has got to stand, but I think he took the checkered flag there, so he will not get a time in.
I think he's on a lap. I think he's okay. He hasn't got the checkered flag on the timing screen, so this is his only opportunity to post a lap. What can Robin do about posting there? 10th at the moment, climbs up 1 place to 9th.
So over the timing line goes the Aston. So Charles Dawson, there he is still pushing on. He just sneaked through, but this lap has gone as well because the track limit abuse was turn 17. So you lose the one you're on and the next one because it gives you an advantage. And that cancellation was at 11 a.m. and 13 seconds, and that's about a minute ago. So it affects this lap, so Charles Dawson's going to lose this lap as well. It'll ping up on the timing, but then it'll disappear. Darren Lund goes through, Charles Dawson comes through, and it's of academic interest in a sense, but Charles Dawson's going to be 9th, but briefly.
Yeah, so he's going to start qualifying with, or finish qualifying with 0 lap times on the board. That'd be massively frustrating. The team are going to have to try to calm him down and get him focused for the race, but they're going to be starting somewhere near the back, obviously. It depends if anyone else doesn't register a lap time. We saw it yesterday, didn't we? A car starting 44th without a time.
Although, interestingly, Charles Dawson's lap is, for the moment, surviving, but it was definitely a turn 17 abuse. So current and next lap was what the indication was. Anyway, that will process through the system, and the cars for the meantime come into the pit lane, and session done for the silvers and the bronzes. And that is Ignacio Montenegro, who is taking a second silver pole of the season, and bronze will be a first one for Peter Dempsey. So it is Mathis Lismont then ahead, Ignacio Montenegro ahead of Arthur Dorison and Aurelian Panis. Ariel Levy 4th from Mikey Porter, and then Peter Dempsey. Jamie Day 7th from Felix Hersinger. Charles Dawson still being shown as 9th, but as we've been saying, it talked about the cancellation of the lap that he was on and the next one, and that all came after the checkered flag. So slightly bizarre for Charles Dawson. That'll process through the system, I'm sure, and Dustin Blattner rounding out the top 10. So bronze pole Dempsey, silver pole Montenegro, and now the pit lane will be made ready for these cars to come back in and for the pros and the golds to venture out on track. And at WRT, fans getting close up to what goes on in the garage. Everybody trackside getting ready as well, as you see the silvers and bronzes coming in. Once the pit lane, if you like, is complete, then the fast lane can be open. But what you don't want are cars coming in and getting in the way of cars going out. It's not a very long pit lane here either, is it?
No, 249 metres, only takes 18 seconds at 50k. Just trying to think where Montenegro will end up. I think he might just stay inside the top 15 by the end of this quali session.
Right, let's get back down to the pit lane. Montenegro quickest, and Ignacio's with Bryn.
Well, everyone here in the garage just erupted when you came in with a round of applause. This weekend, this season for both of you is going from strength to strength, it seems.
Yeah, this season is being really, really strong for us. Also because we are really similar in lap time, so always we are pushing each other to go into the limit, so that is a really nice. We are competing in a really nice way, each other, and that's push us to the limit and also to fight for the championship. I'm really happy with that. Also with my lap, I think it was a good one, actually. The track was a bit dirty in the beginning, maybe because of the Formula race previous one, but I'm really happy with this result.
You imagine the pole lap will actually be a bit lower, like a low 136, something like that, but for yourselves in the season, what is it you're getting out of this car? Because you look across at the 4 cars here in this garage and you guys are performing better than the other ones. What's happening? What's the magic that you're finding?
No, I mean, we are really lucky because we have really good pro drivers here. I mean, it's Kirby, Jordan, Max, everyone here are performing so well. So then we are lucky because we can compare the onboards, we can compare the telemetry, so that's the way how we are growing up so quickly with Mathis, and that's why I think we are competing and also we are leading the championship.
Good luck, keep going.
Thank you.
For my money, he's been one of the finds of the season.
Yeah, I'd agree with his lack of GT experience.
Yeah.
It was a big gamble, but the gamble is paying off handsomely for this 30 car.
Ignacio Montenegro then, currently the fastest, 1 minute 36.769. So now you take these Pro Cup and the Gold Cup cars and you blend them in. So you might, for the moment, be sitting 10th, but you could be a lot further down. And I think Charles Dawson has had a get out of jail free card, because what we have seen as the message hasn't been activated.
No.
At least for now.
It's nailed on. It said it on the time screen, current and next lap. And
Yeah.
the next lap was his final lap, so might be administrative error. And don't you worry, the other bronze teams will be right up to race control just to make sure the procedure has been followed. What's going to be the gun time? I think it's going to be a 36.2 is going to be good enough for pole, but I expect it to be tight. 100 splitting these very competitive cars. I have a fancy of Nicky Team, the 007, for pole position. I think the Astons look very strong here this weekend. Slightly under the radar, the Mercedes very strong, but obviously with the balance of performance adjustment yesterday seemed to bring them in line with the pace of the other cars.
So the fast lane is open, and indeed the session is live, and it has been for a minute. So just talk amongst yourselves for a moment or two, because the engineers, with no flap, no sense of urgency, all to a plan, getting ready to release the cars, some not even yet with the tyres on. They're staying in the warmers, and then when the cars drop down, you know, they're on their way down the pit lane into the session. But for now, there's just this total sense of serenity and calm.
Yeah, exactly. So they've seen what happened earlier in the session, that early cars got compromised, so they're deciding to try and wait as long as they can. They'll be fueled for the minimum amount of laps, and the engineer and the driver have that discussion, and it's the same every qualifying. The driver says they only need 1 lap, the engineer knows they need to fuel it for 3 with track limits, traffic and other issues. So the tyre's always at its best on the first fly and drops away from there.
Right, race control are content with that Charles Dawson lap, we understand, so that surprises us, but they are content, saying it's a different lap that it was affecting. Okay, unless it was just slow coming through the system. There is the car that won in gold yesterday, Gilles Magnus and Robin Knudsen. It's going to be Robin Knudsen to drive it today. Gilles Magnus was also the driver in that car that took gold pole yesterday, so it's had a really good weekend. It's had good pace, and actually was the best of all the Porsches yesterday.
Yeah, we were speaking about luck with the 3 Verstappen car, weren't we? It's been the same for the 10 Boots, and terrible luck at the start of the year, but the pace has been there, and now finally they're getting the results that car and team deserve.
There you can see the Porsche of Robin Knudsen going down the pit lane. David Pittard's BMW behind. And the rest of that pit lane, the drivers waiting the signal to be given, and then they can blast away. There, Dorian Boccolacci's car, the other Boots and VDS entry, sets off. And all of this with just under 7 minutes of qualifying to go, and still relatively few cars on track.
Yeah, your outlap, you're going to lose 1 minute and 45, so then you're down to 5 minutes 15, each lap taking 1 minute and 40 roughly, and suddenly you're only going to get possibly 2-3 flyers there, and Boccolacci will be happy, but this is what the team don't want to see, cars still getting ready, and they might trundle on the outlap sometimes. A bit of smoke coming there, maybe slightly over full on the oil for that flat 6 Porsche. But yeah, the team sometimes slightly underbake the tyres and let the driver bring them up the final 10 degrees on track to make sure they haven't overheated them. It's very easy to get these tyres too hot, and then you can actually make the rubber go harder. So tyres are one of the hardest bits in motorsport to get right. It's like dealing with a toddler. There is no logic, rhyme or reason sometimes to get the best out of them.
Matthew Zagazzetta at the wheel of number 51 Ferrari. That has not been a car to take pole, but it has had a win. This is the man that was on pole for race 1 in Misano. It's Valentino Rossi then at the wheel of 46 BMW. Max Hesse was good in qualifying in that car, but made one good move early on in the race, gained the place, instantly lost 2, and never really recovered.
No, but was the quickest WRT BMW,
yeah.
Like we were saying earlier in the show. It's just not been a weekend for WRT and the BMW so far, and you can see what I mean by slow outlap. Rossi here, really not putting too much energy through those tyres, trying to keep the softest compound, which is on the outer edge of that tyre, fresh for when he starts. One more weave down the back straight into the final sequence as the 10 VDS Porsche now gets up to speed of Robert Knudsen.
Yeah, so there is the almost Red Bull-esque livery adorning the Boots and VDS Porsche. And Robin Knudsen then on his way on that long drag up towards the Adelaide hairpin. Come out of the Estoril right-hander, and then it's a bit of a climb up here. You drop down towards the turn 8, 9 sequence. First of all, you've got 6, 7, the Nürburgring chicane, but then there's another climb the other side of all of this, heading up towards Imola and then Chateau d'Eau. So that's 6, 7, that's the Nürburgring flick, and then down here to the so-called 180-degree corner, turn 8.
Yeah, you can't keep saying 6, 7, by the way, David. The kids at home are going to go wild with that. So I'm just going to call it the chicane, aren't we? But yeah, it's in the natural sort of bowl here at Magny-Cours. So you rise and you fall all the way around the perimeter, and it looks like the 10 has lost its lap already for track limits, and so this lap is in vain. As we flick back to Rossi, 29.5 in sector 1, 5/10 off the ultimate fastest yesterday. So it's an okay lap at the moment. This lap is probably on for a low 37, maybe a mid 37, depending on where the car gets to.
So this is Rossi at work. He's got a bit of clear track space as well, which is good news as he goes now through turns 11 and 12, the Imola chicane, and then up towards Chateau d'Eau. Slow corner, but then the road drops downhill the other side. That's Dorian Boccolacci, who briefly had done the absolute best in sector 1, but that's now been snaffled away by Kelvin van der Linde in 32 BMW, which had a really modest day yesterday, but actually van der Linde was impressive in his stint and did drag the car up the order. Louis Pret's now done an absolute best middle. There was briefly a yellow flag in sector 1, and Rossi slow through 15, getting in the way a little bit of Boccolacci.
Yeah, he's obviously not happy. He was going to catch the Rutronic Lambo Temerio there, and the Lamborghini there, McLaren 36.8 to go second at the moment. It was a mega sector 2, and I think there's some more pace there for the 58.
Yeah, it's third overall, but second in this group. As you see there, Mauro Engel, given qualifying duties today in number 48. You're on board with Mauro Engel now then. They dropped back yesterday in the championship, and Kelvin van der Linde is lighting up the timing screens at the moment. This coming over the line is Ricardo Feller, who's also had a pole position this year, and the Porsche goes on to the top of the times now. Ricardo Feller 1:36.643. Engel goes second, and that was a 36.716, so 73 thousandths between them, but van der Linde tops them both and goes now fastest of anybody. Kelvin van der Linde 1:36.012. We're almost into the 35s that you were predicting.
Yeah, and that was faster than what this car did yesterday in the hands of Jules Gounon, so that's the fastest lap of the weekend we've had. Finally, the WRT BMW is awoken. Junqueira looked massively compromised with traffic there, so I think we've actually backed out of this lap. We're going to save the tyre for another push. He'll be massively frustrated. I think it was the 99 Audi that got in his way, and yeah, for me, he's not going to get a lap this time, and we've only got 2 minutes 10 remaining. He's going to sneak 2 more laps out of this session.
So Danny Junqueira on the run downhill and comes through the chicane up towards the line. Let's see where this puts him. 16th is the short answer, and that's 16th in this group. Ricardo Feller was looking good early on, but at the moment you've got van der Linde from Marvin Kirchhofer. Then it is Patrick Niederhauser's Rutronic Lamborghini showing better pace than ever, and this car currently 4th in the hands of Ricardo Feller, but he's done personal best sector 1 and 2, so an improvement should be on the cards.
Yeah, same for van der Linde as well. So the tyres are hanging on. Nicky Thiem, finally we see what he's got to offer. 2/10 down in sector 1, but the Aston very strong in 2 and 3, and actually 2's not great. Feller crosses the line and goes up to 3rd.
Nicky Thiem had done the lap, but lost it for track limits. So Thiem is out there, has been out there, has been looking quick, but hasn't got a lap time that has stood. Kelvin van der Linde, absolute best sector 1, personal best sector 2. Is he going to go quicker again? And yes, he is, a 35.927. So we're there, we're under the 1:36 bracket. This is Nicky Thiem, who was a real candidate for pole position. As ever, he's massively aggressive through the chicane, and he goes second on a 1:36.154 as Christopher Haase now has done an absolute best middle sector in the Audi. Here he comes. Could we have a real shot here and get Christopher Haase up onto the front row of the grid? He's out of the chicane, he's up to the line, he goes 3rd. Oh, so close.
Haase bunny hopping over the final chicane there nicely.
So then before the flag, this is Pret down towards the chicane. In fact, it was Kirchhofer behind that earlier shot, and he's 4th overall at the minute. So Pret looking for a gold pole, heading up to the line, and it's Arthur Rougier who is fastest in gold for the CSA McLaren team, and Pret's second. This is Arthur Leclerc, who's been a bit undercooked in this session. He's up at Chateau d'Eau now, running wide, but only 14th for the Ferrari that had good race pace yesterday.
Yeah, surprised by that. Another one I'm surprised at, 7th place for Niederhausen in the Lamborghini. That's the most competitive we've seen that car. Leclerc through this final part. How much curve are we going to use on the right? About medium amount, less on the left. Huge snap of oversteer, keeps it legal on the exit, but up to 9th. It's not looking as easy as yesterday in the daytime for that 50 Ferrari.
So the flag is out, and it was the treble 5, Romain Andriolo McLaren, that was the first one to take the flag. Nicky Tim was good in sector 1, but he lost time here in sector 2.
Yeah, and boxes, the tyre's gone. That's what we were saying. Lap 2 is really our last chance. After that, the tyre has dropped. Arthur Rougier again here has hustled well. We saw James Kell struggling with the rear of that car in qualifying yesterday, didn't we? He's going to push to the line. Is he going to improve on 6th? No, he stays there. But a good run from the CSA team.
And a second goal pole of the year. And this is Patrick Niederhauser, who is 7th, which might not sound that flash, but this is a car that's really struggled for pace, and it's still being developed, the new Temerario from Lamborghini. So if Niederhauser can keep this 7th or close, that will be quite something, especially after a tough day yesterday for him and Luca Engschler. Remember, they've made that decision to go from Porsche to Lamborghini for this year. It's a very public test program. Stays 7th, but that's one of the better efforts.
Yeah, it's a huge turning point for that car. They've unlocked some pace overnight. We've got 8 different manufacturers represented in the top 9 of the combined qualifying sessions, and yeah, Montenegro drops to 16th in the end after leading that A session earlier on.
There's Romain Andriolo, who is 2nd in gold. So both of the CSA cars locking out the top 2 positions within that category. And that's Kelvin van der Linde's first Sprint Cup pole, believe it or not. So an excellent effort. You kind of get used to seeing them as winners, he and Charles Wirtz, but in terms of pole positions, a first one to Kelvin van der Linde. So a good job done. And it's going to make for an interesting grid, isn't it, once we get to race time later on. Now, where did Arthur Leclerc end up? They did improve to 9th in the end, but it is van der Linde, Tim Haase, mega effort by Christopher Haase in a car that didn't even finish yesterday because of damage. Then Kirchhofer, Feller, Rougier, Niederhauser, Honkadea, Leclerc and Boccolacci to round out the top 10. So very happy WRT engineers. And after a tough qualifying yesterday when Charles Wirtz was in the car, much better today, putting the WRT squad to the top. And it means that the Rover Pole Position Award goes the way of Kelvin van der Linde. And he is hopefully going to be able to reflect on that lap once Bryn Lucas has found him at the top end of the pit lane. That Rover Pole Award, a regular part of qualifying. Let's get down to Kelvin van der Linde and Bryn Lucas.
It was a tough day at the office for you yesterday. I mean, particularly in qualifying, you got something back in the race. And I was talking to your team out, and he was saying it was tricky because you couldn't kind of work out what was going on with the tyres. But out here today, totally different story.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think different conditions today. The tracks rub it in a bit more, which generally tends to suit our car. Once the grip comes down, we have a better time of it. The car felt in great balance, so thanks to the team. They really did a great job overnight. We did a couple of changes. And yeah, just thanks also to Charles for supporting me and giving me the motivation to go out and do it today.
You stayed quite a while in the car there. Can you tell us the conversations that were going on over the team radio?
Yeah, I hate celebrating too early, and it was the case in Misano where I was also in front of this banner, and then Jules started for me last second, so I wanted to wait this time and be sure.
We know how hard it is to overtake here. It puts you in the prime position, the best position, so congratulations. It's now time to get your Rover Pole Position Award presented by MJ from SRO Motorsports Group.
Maria Giovanna Piva with the trophy for a very happy Kelvin van der Linde and a first Sprint Cup pole, so really, really good effort. And the BMW that was on pole for the first race at Misano, of course, was the Rossi car, so 32 getting its first pole of the season. And there, Joe, again, we have that vivid illustration of just how much energy and how much force goes through the car at the chicane.
Yeah, trying to take the shortest distance possible, but those pesky large curbs getting in the way, and the drivers having to thread the needle as best they can. Too much curb, you launch the car in the air and you don't have any contact patch, but too little, you're going a too great a distance.
So the qualifying session at an end, barring any dramas lurking in the system, then we'll have the grid. Well, one driver that didn't get a lap time was out of the Gold Cup, and that was Dylan Pereira. So a car that has had 2 poles in his hands, not getting a lap here at all, and quite a few lap times disappearing. So a jumbled order. Kelvin van der Linde ahead of Nicky Tim, Christopher Haase ahead of Marvin Kirchhofer, and then Ricardo Feller 5th, Arthur Rougier gold pole 6th from Patrick Niederhauser, then Danny Hunkadea, Arthur Leclerc and Dorian Boccolacci. Mauro Engel only 11th from Romain Andriolo and Louis Pret. Very McLaren, isn't it, in gold. Then you've got Jordan Pepper 14th ahead of Matthias Agazata. Ignacio Montenegro 16th for silver pole from Robin Knutson. Matteo Cairoli next from Loris Spinelli and Arthur Dorison rounding out the top 20. 21st going the way of Ben Green. And a long way back, Valentino Rossi, who never got hooked up at all, did he, to be 22nd. Aurelian Panis then taking the 3rd slot in silver, go down to 26th, and you get Peter Dempsey, who is in his 1st season within GT World, and he takes the bronze pole position as well. 44 cars in total, and that is a record grid as well in Sprint Cup. And the good news is that they're all intact, despite the fact we had a few incidents yesterday. Everybody back out this morning to set times for the grid. So well done, Kelvin van der Linde, quickest by quite a margin, 0.2 of a second, but he and Nicky Tim on the front row is going to make for an exciting start to this afternoon's race, that is for sure. So qualifying under sunny skies got underway with the Silver Cup and Bronze Cup drivers first out today. Arthur Dorison for the ComTU team, and Charles Dawson, having lost an early lap time for track limit abuses, looking for a bronze pole position. Ariel Levy was good for the Trezor Attempto Audi team, but another one hopping over the curbs. So too was Aurelian Panis, who'd go 3rd in silver, behind the hard-charging Arthur Dorison. But a silver pole would go the way of this man, Ignacio Montenegro, in the WRT-operated BMW. Montenegro's 2nd pole of the season as the Brands Hatch pole-winning Porsche went out in the hands of Ricardo Feller in the 2nd part of qualifying. Pole position, though, in gold would go the way of Arthur Rougier, 6th overall. Ricardo Feller's Porsche efforts for 5th, and 4th, Marvin Kirchhofer. He was able to thread his way past the Audis and get 4th. 3rd, Christopher Haase. 2nd would be Nicky Tim, and pole, Kelvin van der Linde. Let's hear from Arthur Rougier, the gold pole winner.
A very happy, smiley Arthur Rougier as well, who's had a very, very tricky weekend, saying that testing has been limited, practice on track has been limited through to a fault you were trying to find with the car. So what can you do today? It's a really good position, pole position, but also way up the grid as well.
Yeah, it's been a really tough weekend so far for us, with technical issues on our first day, struggling with the balance as a consequence, lacking a bit of mileage, I would say, this weekend to find back the pace. And it's really nice that we made the job. We worked, all the guys worked really hard overnight to give me a good quali car today. So it's nice to start on pole in Gold Cup and also P6 overall.
Very briefly, how have you gone about finding the issues and maybe fixing the issues? Because it's one thing knowing what the issue is, but getting a car set up for pole position is another matter.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what we can do for the race, but it was more about putting let's say, the tires in the window that we struggled the whole weekend, and it looked like in qualifying we found something. So let's see what we can do for the race. It's going to be a different target, because you want to be fast for 30 minutes, not for one lap. I mean, twice 30 minutes. So we'll see, but it's yeah, we're going to try to stay where we are in Gold Cup, so we fight for the victory now in Gold Cup. That's a goal.
Merci, bonjour.
Thanks.
So Arthur Rougier then taking pole position for the 2nd time in gold. Good effort done. And there Ricardo Feller using all of the curb and then some, going through the chicane. The Lion Speed Porsche, which of course won the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. That was a massive launch by Nicky Tim.
It really was, wasn't it? You can see the bodywork deflecting. All the energy has to go somewhere, and we saw this car using it to good effect. Look at the headlights and everything going. And all the components on these cars have a life from the manufacturer, but when you're striking a curb like that, the teams are going to have to be on the case. Suspension, bodywork, and it just goes all the way through the drivetrain, all the way to the seat. And Valentino showing how good that BMW is at taking out some of that energy.
So well done to Kelvin van der Linde. He will start this afternoon's race from pole position. It's going to be action all the way, that is for sure. We'll be on air at 3 o'clock. We'll look forward to your company later on today. Bye for now.